Last night on Gravitas, we asked, will Israel strike Iran's nuclear sites? And tonight, we are saying that a nuclear crisis is looming over Iran and Israel. You see, after Iran's massive missile strike on Tuesday, it is quite clear that Israel is planning a retaliation. Its Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, in fact, has stated that Iran will have to pay for it. Since then, the war rhetoric between Israel and Iran has only escalated, with Israel warning of a forceful retaliation and Israeli officials openly calling for a strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. The two countries have never been closer to sparking a far more dangerous and wider conflict. Amidst this nuclear saber-rattling, US President Joe Biden has said that he does not support strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. Listen into what he said.
Yes, look, I called a meeting of the G7 today. We're working on a joint statement all of us agree on, from Japan to France to Germany to etc. And what we're doing in that regard is we're making it clear that there are things that have to be done. And it's obviously Iran has gone way it's way off court. We're going to put together a joint statement. Hasn't been done yet. It'll be done before too long, probably by the time we land. And there's going to be some sanctions imposed on Iran. We'll be discussing with the Israelis what they're going to do, but all seven of us agree that they have a right to respond, but they should respond in proportion.
Now, you see, Biden's comment is compelling for two reasons. Number one, Biden unequivocally supports a significant Israeli retaliation to the Iranian attack rather than actually discouraging Israel from escalating things. Number two, Biden's clear stance against an Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facilities indicates that it was in fact discussed. We know that Israel has explicitly stated that this option remains on the table. The question is, are we on the brink of seeing nuclear clouds over Iran and Israel? As tensions mount, Iran shows no signs of backing down. The Iranian president, in fact, Masoud Pezeshkian, has also issued a stern warning. He has warned of strong response to any further Israeli actions. He has explicitly stated that if Israel takes one action against Iran, Tehran will respond in a more severe manner.
We are not in pursuit of war with Israel. They promised us peace. But Israel has terrorized our guests in Tehran during our presidential inauguration. We want to establish peace. If you disagree, peace will not be established.
Now, here's where things stand. Since the damage from the attack was minimal in a way, observers say that Israel could opt for a limited response, as it did in April, when Iran launched its attack on Israel. On the 13th of April, in retaliation for a suspected Israeli strike on its consulate in Damascus, Iran, remember, launched approximately 120 ballistic missiles and 170 drones. They caused minor damage to a military base in southern Israel, and days later, on the 18th of April, Israel hit the Artesh Air Force Base in Isfahan, destroying part of an S-300 long-range air defense system. Sure, that attack did little to undermine Iran's military capabilities, but you see, its precision served as an implicit threat while avoiding a further escalation. That was then. Things have drastically changed in the following months. This time, the scale and nature of Iran's attack was bigger. Iran used ballistic missiles, many of which made it past Israel's Iron Dome air defense system. And that's no small feat. The fact that the Iron Dome was breached is a major setback for Israel in the first place. Apart from raising several crucial questions about the viability of the defense system, it tells us that Israel's response could be much harsher than the one that was witnessed in April. And if Israel does choose to truly escalate things, it could potentially mark a departure from decades of proxy war, dragging Iranian forces into a direct confrontation with Israel and its biggest ally, the US. But realistically speaking, what targets can Israel actually aim to strike? Let's just take a look. As mentioned earlier, for Israel, all options are on the table that could include strikes on nuclear and oil production facilities, targeted assassinations of Iran's Revolutionary Guards and precise raids on military assets, while Israeli army spokesperson Daniel Hagari has said that they will respond wherever, whenever, and however we choose, quote unquote. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has called for a decisive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. He said, and I'm quoting here, "We must act now to destroy Iran's nuclear program, its central energy facilities, and to fatally cripple this regime. We have the justification, we have the tools now that Hezbollah and Hamas are paralyzed. Iran stands exposed." Now, one must not take that warning lightly. You see, Israel views the Iranian nuclear weapons program as an existential threat. Iran, in fact, has spread its nuclear facilities over a number of sites. Some of them are underground, which basically means that they are more difficult to target. On your screen are Iran's nuclear sites on Israel's sites. Number one, Natanz. This is a complex at the heart of Iran's enrichment program. It is located outside the Shiite Muslim holy city of Qom, south of Tehran. And according to reports, Natanz houses two enrichment plants, the underground fuel enrichment plant and the above-ground pilot fuel enrichment plant. The FEP was reportedly built for enrichment on a commercial scale, able to house 50,000 centrifuges. Around 14,000 centrifuges are currently installed there, roughly 11,000 of which are in operation, as per reports refining uranium to up to 5% purity. Next, number two, Fordo. It is on the opposite side of Qom. It is reportedly an enrichment site dug into a mountain, therefore probably better protected from potential bombardment. The 2015 deal with major powers did not allow Iran to enrich at Fordo at all. In fact, reports say that it has now more than 1,000 centrifuges operating there. Reports also saying that Iran has recently doubled the number of centrifuges installed at Fordo. Number three, let's get to that map again, Isfahan. Iran has a large nuclear technology center on the outskirts of Isfahan, its second largest city. It includes the fuel plate fabrication plant and the uranium conversion facility that can actually process uranium into the uranium hexafluoride for the unversed. This is what is actually fed into centrifuges. According to reports, there is also equipment at Isfahan that can make uranium metal, a process that is particularly proliferation sensitive. It can be used to devise the core of a nuclear bomb. As per the United Nations nuclear watchdog, IAEA, there are machines there for making centrifuge parts. Number four on the map, Kondab. Iran also has partially built heavy water research reactor, originally called Arak, A-R-A-K. Now, it's called Kondab. Heavy water reactors pose a nuclear proliferation risk because they can actually easily produce plutonium, which, like enriched uranium, can be used to make the core of an atom bomb. Number five, Tehran Research Center. Iran's nuclear research facilities in Tehran include a research reactor. And finally, number six, Bushehr, Iran's only operating nuclear power plant that is located on the Gulf Coast. It uses Russian fuel that Russia then takes back when it is spent, as per reports, reducing the proliferation risk. Israel has historically targeted Iran's nuclear program in the form of cyber attacks, assassinations of scientists, bombs placed at Iranian nuclear facilities. Not only in Iran, Israel has also carried out similar operations in Iraq as well as Syria. Just take the Israeli attack on Iraq's Osirak in 1981 as an example. Israeli forces bombed the nuclear reactor in what they called Operation Opera. Iraq's dictator Saddam Hussein had started work on making a nuclear reactor in the 1970s. He signed a deal with France to build two nuclear reactors, Tammuz 1 and 2. In fact, Israel saw this as a big threat, as Iraq becoming a nuclear power under the dictator would be dangerous. It eventually decided to bomb the nuclear reactor while it was still under construction. Operation Opera was the longest range airstrike by Israel on a single day. And then Israel also bombed a suspected Syrian nuclear reactor in 2007. It was called Operation Outside the Box. The Israeli and US governments did not announce the secret raids for 7 months. The White House and the CIA subsequently confirmed that American intelligence had also indicated the site was a nuclear facility with a military purpose. In Iran, the Israeli strategy of striking nuclear sites so far allowed Israel to repeatedly roll the clock back on Iran's nuclear progress, while maintaining some level of credible deniability and avoiding further military escalation. And as a result, you see, Israel has largely remained within the rules. But now, with both countries openly striking each other's territory, Israel may see this as an opportunity or even feel compelled to target Iran's nuclear facilities directly. On its part, Iran is wary of starting a larger war. It has warned Israel against retaliation. It has said it does not want war, but warned that it will respond if threatened. For the rest of the world, the real question is, what happens when a bomb lands on a nuclear reactor? How many Hiroshima and Nagasaki does the world have to see? Will Iran become the next Chernobyl? Because if a bomb lands on a nuclear reactor, it will lead to huge danger across the world. It will cause a chain reaction, and the world will want anything but this. Is this what we have come to? To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.